Good evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well. I'll give a couple minutes for people to come on here. If this is your first time, the Sunday night live stream, do this every Sunday evening at 9 o'clock. I actually haven't shared one of these videos for a long time, so I'm going to take a couple seconds and share this on Facebook, and we'll see if we can't get some extra people over here. But I hope y'all are doing well. If you have an opportunity to share this with somebody or to share it on your social media, wherever, and you have some people that you think you want to have join the conversation, would definitely encourage you to go ahead and do that. Let's get as many people in here as possible, because it looks like we're going to be in this situation for quite some time. It is. I just saw the new Trump guidelines, or federal government guidelines, I should say, are that this social distancing is going to continue for another full month. And so we're going to have quite a bit of time where life is not going to be anywhere approaching normal. But that being said, there's still incredible opportunity in and amongst that. And so just want to have that conversation with you guys. Sorry, I'm going to share this real quick. I can't like type and talk at the same time, or I can't do it well. I can't talk well or type well if I'm trying to do both. Okay. All right. So, anyways, yeah, let me know your thoughts. I mean, what are you guys doing to handle this? How has this affected you, actually, is what I kind of want to know. Has it changed your life a whole lot? Are you still working? Like, are you considered an essential employee, or are you out of work and you're wondering how you're going to pay the bills? How's it affecting your other social life? Like, what things in your life have been canceled? What things have been changed? Um, I have, in one sense, I've had a lot of change, and in another sense, there hasn't been a lot of change at all. Like, my work is very much different, but we are considered an essential business. We're not allowed to open our doors, and so we've been basically just servicing customers over the phone, by email, through the website, all that stuff. I still go into the office or try to go in every day to still make the deposits, still do the little things that have to be done. There's some people that still drop off payments in the Dropbox, all that fun stuff. Collect the mail. Like, there's a lot of different things that still have to be done. And so overall, the job is slowed down, but I'm still very much engaged and involved in it. It hasn't been like, oh, I have, a month off of work. Like, that's not going to happen for where we're at. But on the other hand, it's also been, like, my days, I've been able to like do other stuff that I've been wanting to do for a while. And so I'm catching up on other things, even in the midst of all the chaos. And then as far as social life goes, uh, most of my stuff is with my family and with the church. The church has drastically changed. Now we're just doing online. But once again, the church workload hasn't really changed because we've still been going through this entire move situation. There's still been a lot of administrative stuff to do behind the scenes, and so we're still, you know doing all the paperwork and things for the move. We're like doing a lot of um, just a lot going on there. And so maybe over the course of the next month, my work stuff, as I catch up on all of my past projects, will really slow down, and the church stuff will really slow down. But so far, it hasn't slowed down much at all. That being said, I did get an extra day on Friday with my family here at home, which was great. We're going down to basically like a staggered shift at my office, just because it has slowed down in that way with the workload. So I'm scheduling some days off and doing all that kind of stuff. But overall, it hasn't hurt me at all. If anything, it's just been a help so far. Obviously, not the way that we want that to happen. But anyways, Meatloaf's in the house, and she was first. Good job, Krista. Thanks for being here early. Appreciate you. Big Dog Bro's in the house. Summer's here. Naomi's here. Dr. Amanda's in the house. Roger's here. Meatloaf says, if I don't see Jasper tonight, I'm going to poke your forehead. Okay. I've been promising Meatloaf that I would show her the dog for a long time. He's sleeping. Here he is. Here's the old man. Still sleeping. How about that? He's like out, man. He is really, really tired. He's had a rough day, I guess, you know. Normally he gets that couple-hour break where we go to church, but he didn't get that break today. Kids were just all over him all day long. So there you go, Meatloaf. Mission successful. Let's see here. Melissa says, been out of work for 2 weeks. There's days when I break down in tears, missing everyone from the church family. Yeah, that is one of the more difficult parts for sure. I think we need to be more intentional about reaching out during this time. I think it's important for us to, still have a lot of different human interaction, and so I think we should. I think we should continue to maybe reach out to 2 or 3 people that you know every day, whether it be family or friends, and even if it's just a Facebook message and a conversation that way. But I think preferably if we would do, a phone call or, talk to someone on Skype, do those kinds of things to try to stay connected as much as we can. I think this is a really pivotal time, and I don't mean to get all spiritual here, but I believe that the enemy is going to want to be working at this time to isolate people. And so if you've been recovered from addiction for a long time and you're isolated, the enemy is going to begin to work on you to pressure you to use again. And so, like, all of those different kinds of things, like, there's definitely strength in numbers, especially when it comes to the church. But even outside of the church, we're not made to walk through this life alone. We're made to walk through this life with other people. I really appreciate even just this interaction. I know this is mostly a one-way street, but I still love like reading all of your guys' comments and going through all of that stuff as well. Kevin's in the house. Chris is here. Gene is in the house. Says good service today. It was fun. Man, it's been a big learning curve for me. We're trying to figure out how to do church online, and we don't want to just do it. We want to do it really well. And so our first one, in my opinion, was a little rough from an editing standpoint. Yes, the one we played today was better, but there were still several things that didn't work that we know how to fix. And so we're working on those things throughout the week. And I'm hoping that by the end of this whole quarantine thing, we're going to be really, really great at packaging church online. And so I'm looking forward to that, to have that skill moving forward too, because I think those are things that are going to be important in the future anyway. So that's another opportunity, I guess, is for businesses and for nonprofits like churches. It's a great time to learn and to figure out how to do business online, or in the churches, from the church's standpoint, how to do church online. Because if we can figure that out, those are going to be skills that are going to apply for a long, long time. Big Dog says, I don't see this under control for a long time. USA has the most cases. People need to take it seriously. Yeah, it's definitely interesting to watch. You have the hot spots, man. New York City. You don't want to be there right now, and the major metropolitan areas. But I I still don't know of any major like rural areas where it's really taken off like wildfire. Although I heard in Beaver County the other day they had however many cases in the nursing home. Like that's not going to be a good situation. That's how Washington got started as well. I'm the one thing I'm really curious to see is if they can ever come up with an antibody test. Um, it's still so frustrating that we don't have the data. Like we still don't know how many people are truly infected even right now. And so we could be coming to the curve really quickly, or we could be months away from the curve. Like we have no idea. And so like are we building up herd immunity already as a society? As it has it just started and we're not even getting anywhere? Um, the mysterious illness that a lot of people had in November and December, like was that coronavirus and we didn't even know it? Are all like what's actually happening? Um, we just don't know yet. And so until then, we just stay away from people. Don't hug. Don't shake hands. Don't go. Don't take extraneous trips that you don't have to take. And we just have to. And Big Dog Bro is in the medical field, so take his words to heart. Take it seriously. Do what you're told to do, and we'll go from there. Scott says people. I'm assuming people need to stay home. Amanda says, my office has slowed down a lot, but I have new guidelines every other day that we have to follow. I know, and that's the other frustrating thing is you're trying to come up with some kind of certainty or some kind of plan, but it's impossible to plan right now. It's like everything is changing. We could be under a, you know, stay at home order tomorrow, and we have no there's no way for us to really know if that's coming or not. My assumption is that it is, but you can't plan anything out because you just don't know. So I feel for you, Amanda, for sure. Kevin says, if you guys need to do any shopping, go to Big Lots. I can verify that everything is bleached and disinfected every morning. That's because Kevin is the man and he's doing it himself. I appreciate you, Kevin. You are awesome. Doing your part for sure. Meatloaf likes the dog. Everyone likes the dog, of course. Patty's Rock says, will you ever get another dog? Yeah, I mean, we actually plan, I think, to get another dog after Jasper dies. With 4 kids, I've actually found that a dog is not just it's not just a pet. A dog is actually an employee in your cleaning crew that you actually need. And so I guess maybe if Jasper lives a few more years, we won't need the cleaning crew as much. But you don't know how many times. Like that dog has paid for himself many, many times over. Like he would sit right under the high chair and collect all the crumbs. And he still does it today. He still just sits under the table at dinner time, waits for things to fall, and we don't have to clean the dining room floor very often. And so it's pretty amazing. So the dog is worth his weight in gold because he eats like one bag of dog food every 6 months. It's like it doesn't cost anything to feed him. He's been to the vet one time in the last 10 years. One time. It's he's like he's a tank. He never gets sick. He's always just ready and raring to go. Let's see. Melissa says, Orphans of the Storm flooded yesterday. Yes, that was pretty crazy. I had a little bit of water in my building, but nothing like what they got. Kevin says, I saw that. Poor animals had to be carried out and taken to a farm. Yeah, they did get all the animals out, so that is a good thing. Big Dog Bro says it starts one case at a time. Yes, and we do have 3 cases now, and then you have one of them was the doctor, and so that's the other crazy thing. He could have been infected and, contagious for 2 weeks, seeing patients that entire time, not known it. I mean, he could have infected 50 people in Armstrong County. We have no idea. Or he could have shown symptoms right away and he didn't infect anybody. There's no way to know. It's crazy. Amanda says there's an inherent bias because we're only testing people who have active symptoms, so the numbers will be skewed. Yeah, I mean, so it's got to be 6 or 7 times probably as many as have symptoms are the ones that have it, according to all the numbers that I've read about. I've heard some say up to 10 times as many people. And so if we have over 100,000, how many is it today? Let me get the real number. So I'm talking real numbers here. 141,854. If that's the real number, that means that there's up to 1.4 million people in the United States that actually have it already. There's 350 million people here, plus undocumented immigrants. We are probably at close to 400 million people, and so that's a lot of people to go still. Interesting time to be alive. But that being said, if a lot of people, like I said, had it in December and January before any of this was even a thought in people's minds, and they just thought, well, I have the flu, or I have a really bad cold, or I just have a cough that's lingering for a long time, or they got pneumonia but couldn't link it back to any virus, there could be millions of those people out there too. And maybe we're already building up herd immunity and we don't even know it. So, I don't know. Chris says, I swear this is what put me in the hospital over Christmas. Thought I was going to die. Maybe it peaked here. Yeah, Luke, who works with me, had the same thing. He was like down and out for a month. He literally coughed for 2 months straight. Like if he was in my office for that amount of time and I somehow didn't get it, I have no idea how I don't have it. But if that's what he had, now we don't know, but I know so many people that had that situation. They had flu-like symptoms, they had the deep chest cold, they had pneumonia, they had all that kind of stuff. They went and got tested, didn't test positive for the flu, and so they sent him home and just said, yeah, you got a cold, go do your thing. I know a lot of people with that story. So, who knows? The dude says, how long is school out? Will it be closed for the year? I would assume that the school is going to be closed for the year. It's going to be pretty difficult for them to, I mean, at this point now, there's the social distancing until April 30th. So the school is going to be off for, at minimum, at least a month more. And I would assume at that point they're going to say, yeah, let's just scrap it. However, I think they can go to school to the end of June. So maybe you'll have school in May and June, and we'll see. I have no idea. Big Dog Bro says, started in mid-November in China, and the records were destroyed, and people were silenced until they had to say there's a problem. Yeah, I know. It's pretty wild. That whole situation too. The China cover up and all that stuff it's just a wild story. The whole thing is just really fishy. Amanda says, I noticed after our Boxster pass last fall that our house is much messier with crumbs. Did you link the two in between then, or did I just open that up for you? I'm assuming you linked it before now. Melissa says, my niece was tested Friday. I was shocked when they opened the drive-through testing at the Pittsburgh Zoo, and I saw the video on that first day. It was, I mean, there was hundreds of cars. That's a big parking lot, and the whole parking lot was lined the whole way around with people waiting to get tested. And so, and obviously there's a healthy paranoia that's out there right now. Well, there's an unhealthy paranoia as well, but I think most of the tests that have been given in Pennsylvania actually came back negative. I could pull up that number too now as well. Pennsylvania, 30,061 tests and 3,394 were positive. So 9 out of every 10 tests almost are negative. So, but the other thing I think is there's a 5% false positive rate on the test. So, or there's a 5% margin of error. I can't remember exactly the terminology they use. So those numbers could be skewed a little bit one way or another, but still about 90% of the people getting tested are don't have it. So there's a lot of symptoms out there still that aren't aren't actually coronavirus. Chris says, so why are we not informed if they are testing those people that have been around patients who have tested positive? Seems we are in the dark. That's the whole thing. We are in the dark. There's no way around it. And I think we can go down this road of like really conspiracy theory, all that kind of stuff, and we can work ourselves into a anxious frenzy. But I'm not interested in that at all, and I'm not anxious whatsoever. For multiple reasons. I mean, number one, I'm young and healthy. The statistics say that even if I do get it, I'm probably going to be just fine. All my kids seem to be under the age range where they are well out of um, well out of the distance of being harmed by this thing. Uh, but at the same time, like this is where I think it's so important to have a faith relationship with God. Like if you have that, everything else kind of falls into place for me. Even if this was like an Ebola type disease that killed, half the people that were infected by it, even in that scenario, I don't feel like I would be concerned. I just I know where I'm going. I know how the story ends. I know the situation for me personally, and so I don't have anything to be concerned about. The only thing I'm concerned about for tomorrow is that tomorrow I want to shine as bright a light as possible into the world and show as many people God's love as I possibly can, and hopefully continue to preach the truth in love for people and advance God's mission on this earth. That's all I'm really worried about. And if God wants to take me home tomorrow or 2 days from now or 50 years from now, he can do whatever he wants to do, and I'm totally okay with that. That being said, we still want to be wise, still don't want to be foolish about this entire thing, and so still would suggest that you follow the guidelines, at least at this time. Gene says, Pastor Andy, maybe that's what I had. Could be. I have no idea. Might not be. Like I said, maybe none of those are tied to it. But the fact is, we don't have an antibody test to actually test anyone to make sure that they have had it. Because if we did, anyone that had any kind of sickness in the past 6 months could go and get tested. And if they started finding, wow, a third of these people have the antibodies and they're immune at this point from the corona, or effectively immune. I've heard of some people getting it a second time, but at the same token, if you are effectively immune, then those people don't have to social distance. Those people could then go back to work. They could keep the economy going while everyone else is still social distancing, quarantining, all of those kinds of things, and we can gradually get things back to some kind of normalcy. But that doesn't exist once again. So yes, we're in the dark. Kevin said that clip where Trump says it comes from China. Yeah. Yeah, Trump is, his boldness has not wavered through all of this, that's for sure. And it's fun to listen to is it Fauci? The guy that's kind of leading the medical side of this with Vice President Pence. It's fun to listen to those two. I actually really enjoy the press conferences and hearing all the numbers and all the things that they're doing to try to tackle this. It seems like they're. It seems like everyone's doing a great job, honestly, from the federal level, state level, the hospital workers. Everyone's doing all that they can. Even private business now. There's a lot of businesses making masks and making ventilators and all these different kind of things. And you have to think, in a capitalist society that's insurance run, there's going to be capital and there's going to be manpower, factory power to make this thing happen. And so hopefully it's just going to be a wake up call for us on how to be prepared and how to properly mobilize and how to make it through a crisis like this without operating out of fear. Summer says microbiology is interesting and scary at the same time. Makes you want to clean things you can't see. Yeah. Um, it is interesting how it affects your thinking because even when I'm at work, yeah, I'm the only one that's been there for 2 weeks now. So literally, the only one that's ever touched anything in there for the last 2 weeks is me. And so even if I'm assuming that I have it, which is what we're supposed to do, even if I assume that I have it, I still don't have to go around like cleaning door handles and all that kind of stuff because I'm the only one that's been there, and I'm the only one that's probably going to be there over the next month. Um, but at the same token, it's like every box that you get from Amazon or every piece of mail that I process or every payment, like, was that person sick? And so you end up washing your hands several times a day and try to do all of those things at one time and then come back and wash my hands really well and like so much more cleaning before I eat and just really, and I'm one that like I constantly am touching my face. Like I chew my cheeks is one of my like my nervous things. I'm always like chewing on my fingernail, not my fingernails, but like chewing on my fingers and like constantly like hands in my mouth. And so, but I haven't been sick for over a year at this point. So obviously it served me okay so far, but still don't really want coronavirus. Chris says, just want facts, trying to keep the faith. Yeah, absolutely. Um, that is the trick. Just keep the faith. Keep plugging away. Take one day at a time, and just keep doing the next right thing. That's all you. That's all you can do. The rest is in God's hands. He's got this thing taken care of. He already knows the end from the beginning, and we just take our part, do our part, be vigilant, and continue to be a light. Big Dog Bro says they say it can live on surfaces for 3 days, but the cruise ships had rooms. It was still active for 17 days. Well, that's pretty interesting. That's beyond any numbers that I've heard, but I, I believe you. Let's see here. Kevin, I think you misunderstood, or Chris, I think you misunderstood Kevin. He wasn't throwing any stones at anybody. He's just making some light from a dark situation. Meatloaf says over a year. Want to trade immune systems? Yeah, I mean I have a good immune system, no doubt about it. Although last time I was sick, it was on my birthday in 2019, and I was very very sick. I I went to work like I woke up in the morning and I was like, yeah, kind of iffy. Probably shouldn't go to work, but I'll go. I'll just close my door. I'll just make sure that I don't, not in contact with people. Well, I went to work, and by the time I got to work, I was like, oh, this was a big mistake. And I basically, I wanted to just turn around and drive home. But at that point, I didn't even feel safe driving. Like, that's how bad it got. I went into my office for like an hour, and I was just trying to like pull it together, but I couldn't. And I went upstairs. Then I had a couch up there, and I just passed out on the couch. I was just shaking, and I literally I didn't wake up until 6 o'clock, and then I called my wife, and I was like, or actually I called her in the middle of the day, and I was like, I don't know if I'm coming home tonight. Like I can't. I don't think I can drive. And then I woke up at 6 and I was like, okay, I think I might be able to drive. And it literally took me like an hour to get to my car and then drive back home. And I live like 5 minutes away. It was terrible. So I don't want that again. That's whatever that was. I don't want that. All right, guys. I am dead tired. just to be perfectly honest with you. I am going to I'm gonna head out. I wish you all the very best. I last night we had so many problems. I had so many problems personally editing the video for church, and I was so far ahead, and then everything went wrong, and I was up until literally 4 in the morning, and then I got up at 6:30 to upload the video, and I was up for then about 45 minutes, laid back down for a half an hour, and and then the kids were up. So I've been up all day since then, and it's just been very tiring. So I'm running on 3 hours of sleep. I'm gonna go get a lot more sleep tonight than I got last night. But I love you all. I appreciate you all, and please keep your eyes and your ears open for needs that you see in the community as this thing continues to escalate. If you have people that are in need, someone needs food, someone needs supplies, whatever it is, please let's talk to each other and let's figure it out. If you can't help them directly, I would encourage you send it to me on Kittanning Greatest City in the World Facebook page, and I'll be happy to be the connector. I'll put out the need out on Facebook, and we'll come together as a coalition, and we're going to make sure that as a community we're going to take care of each other, no matter how bad this thing gets in Armstrong County. That's my commitment to you. I'm gonna do everything that I can to make sure that the churches are mobilized and that we are taking care of needs as they come up. So that's it. Love you all.